baby, listen to the speaker. No matter what, just say the word. I'm loving all I see.
Pop, Perswayable. What's going on, everybody? I want to remind you all that I miss you all incredibly. From the genuineness of my heart, I'm excited to announce that I've become an OT practitioner, and I've been practicing and working with primarily children from the ages of 1 all the way up until 18, making sure that I can rehabilitate them and make sure that they can function to their fullest capacity. I've been really busy. I work 4 10-hour shifts, and I'm going to start coming out with the YouTube content more and more. And as you guys know, I'm not a great video editor. I do a lot of this stuff in one take. My time is very important. It's very limited. And your ears and the ability to listen and provide me your time is also equally important. So I'm going to be announcing a few different projects. A lot of people have been telling me that they don't really care about the funny videos and the guides and all that stuff. I can still do that as well, but the idea of me being absent from YouTube and not coming out with daily content, people still want to hear from me, and I truly appreciate that you guys have provided me this sort of worth. Today's video is not going to have too many laughs. It's going to be a new series that I come out with where I just kind of talk over casual rank gameplay. You can see my ping that fluctuates up there. That's something new that I've been really dealing with. Today I want to talk to you guys about the concept of privilege. And not the concept of privilege from a philosophical standpoint or even an academic one, but one that I see every day and one that I experience on a clinical level. And it's the concept of the things that we have privileges that we don't really always acknowledge. Now, these privileges, we shouldn't presume, does not mean that we have obstacles and does not mean that life can be difficult. It doesn't mean that the things that we experience are not as real, and it doesn't mean that the hardships and sorrowness that we often feel through times of turmoil are any less valid merely because of privileges that we have. The concept of privilege is this idea that there are many things that we have that other people do not have. The concept of the idea of moving your hands, being able to play around with a pencil and grasp items where other people can't use their hands, the ability to see and have vision, and the ability to talk when others can't even say I love you to somebody using their own voice, but rather has to find some sort of compensatory method. Sometimes we forget these little things that we have, and I want to tell you how that experience, my experiences as a clinician, in terms of these things that we have and what they are going to mean to you when you no longer have them. So if you think of all the little things in your life that you don't truly, really appreciate, the ability to get up out of bed by yourself, the ability to brush your teeth and comb your hair, the ability to even cook your own food, even if we don't like cooking and we prefer going out to eat, the ability to go to the bathroom without somebody watching you, the ability to manipulate objects with your hands. I referenced that earlier. We referenced other senses such as the ability to see, the ability to hear. All of these things we don't really think about on a daily level, right? We just kind of get out of bed. We moan about going to work. Going to work is something that ironically one day you're actually going to miss. See, in my line of work, I work with children who do not have these things that we have. Children who struggle to be able to use their hands, struggle to be able to see and coordinate their hands and eyes. We call this visual motor integration. I work with children who don't have social communication skills like you and I do and have very big difficulties making friends and having social interactions. So we have a bundle of these things every day that we have, and we take it for granted. We're not thankful for these things. We're not reminded of these things, and we take them for granted. Now, you may say, well, why does this matter to me? It matters to you because if you can remind yourself of the things that you have, it will allow you the ability to appreciate the little things that you do. And if you can appreciate the little things that you're able to do, the ability to make your bed, the ability to go to the bathroom, any of those sorts of things that I've mentioned, it brings meaningfulness in your life. Now, this doesn't mean that you're not allowed to have mental health issues. It doesn't mean that you're not allowed to go through sorrow. It doesn't mean that you're not allowed to be frustrated in life. None of that, right? By saying that we should be appreciative of the little things that we have doesn't mean that we have to ignore all of the real life things that we go through. One of the things that I learned as a clinician working with geriatric patients is that a lot of them go into rehab when they lose their ability to do things. As an example, think of an individual who has a stroke. An individual who has a stroke may lose the ability to do many different things depending on the location of that stroke. There's different symptoms depending on where that stroke occurs, right? So not only a stroke, but even Alzheimer's or dementia where we start to lose some motor function, Parkinson's, right? I've worked with all these illnesses before. And when you sit down with an individual, especially when, they're 75, 80 years old, and you look at them and you say, okay, this is rehab. What do you want to work on? You have patients who will look at you, and you will have an older woman who says, I wish I could just put my bra on without anyone else having to do it. That's all they want. You have the older gentleman who says, I wish that I could walk into the bathroom and brush my teeth again without somebody else having to do it for me. You have older individuals who lose some of these things, the ability to just put a shirt on. And it's my job to help rehabilitate them. It's my job to help them get that motor movement, that flexibility, that range of motion in their shoulders. We take these things for granted. The ability to just sit upright and eat your own food requires actually a lot of things. You need to have the visual and motor integration to see with your eyes, to use your hands to manipulate a spoon, to put that spoon in the food with the proper force, to bring it to your mouth, to not overshoot it, to have the stability in your wrist and your fingers to make sure the spoon isn't shaken so the food doesn't fall off. You need to have good core strength and back muscles and abdominals that are strong enough and good hip proprioception so you're not tilting to the side when you're trying to eat. Many of these things that you need for these basic things are very complex. And so one of the biggest things that I've already learned as an OT clinician is to appreciate the little things in life. Because one day they will be gone. That is objective, and that is the truth. One day you are not going to be able to take care of yourself. The things that you have done for years, being able to get up, being able to dress yourself, being able to eat, those things will slowly go away as you get older and older, depending on how well you take care of yourself and your level of independence. And I looked at some of my patients when I was doing my clinicals, and I realized that I was doing things in life that I was not appreciating. I wasn't appreciating the ability to take care of myself. I wasn't appreciating the ability to do these very tiny things. Because in a post-industrial society, we're overwhelmed. There's a lot of things going on. We got to worry about how much money we make. We got to worry about our healthcare system. We have to worry about children and our parents getting older and the responsibilities of that. Or maybe we're younger, we're teenagers, and we're worried about that social pressure of getting a boyfriend or a girlfriend or getting into college or doing good on the SATs or just staying out of trouble, right? We all have so many things on our plate right now. A lot of us feel overwhelmed. And it can cause stress. And it can sort of prevent us from being able to take care of ourselves. And when we don't take care of ourselves, it only makes the symptoms worse. The idea of occupational therapy is to make sure that you can participate in the activities that are meaningful and purposeful to you. And those are two separate categories. We do things that are purposeful and we do things that are meaningful. Both of these sort of activities is what makes us who we are. These are our occupations. Occupational therapy does not mean vocation, which is your job. Occupational therapy means occupations. Your occupations are the things that you do. If you're a father, that is your occupation. If you are a sister, that is your occupation. If you are a video gamer, that is your occupation. And what I've learned as an occupational therapist is that it's important for us to appreciate these sorts of things that we are able to do, because by reminding yourself that one day you may not be able to do these things, just for a brief moment when you wake up in the morning, you might actually look at yourself in the mirror when you're doing the same routine over and over, when you feel like life is robotic. Even for a brief second, you'll look at yourself and you'll be like, I am so happy that I can do this right now. The concept of privilege is this idea that we can do things. We have the privilege of being able to do these things, and we don't remind ourselves of these small, tiny things that we can do because we automatically presume that we're going to be able to do it forever. Ladies and gentlemen, for you to manipulate a pencil, for you to hold a pencil, took 5 years of your life. If you develop typically. Sometimes that can take 7 years. You think of all of that time it took you to do one tiny thing to hold a pencil. You realize that ability to hold a pencil, you may not be able to do that when you get older. The concept of privilege is realizing to be thankful for what you can do. It is not going to fix all your issues in life, and it does not mean that you're not allowed to feel the things when you're supposed to feel, because feelings are called feelings. It is not supposed to make you feel like life is not full of nonsense, and it is not supposed to tell you don't feel what you're supposed to feel when you're supposed to feel them. But what it may do for just some of you is allow you to think on a deep level. And what we know is that deep thinkers, that is healthy for the brain chemistry by making yourself critically think. It's called metacognition, thinking about thinking. I just want you all to know that there will be a time one day when you're not going to be able to do the things that I'm talking about. I promise you. We'll most likely see you in rehab therapy when we get older and when we go through things. Not everybody, but a lot of people. And I can promise you that the difference between being able to accept when your time is coming for everything to end, the difference between patients who are ready to go versus the patients who are deathly afraid is that the patients who are ready to go are the individuals who lived meaningful, purposeful lives because they did not always take the little things for granted. And every patient that I've ever had, for the most part, has told me, don't take the little things for granted. I can go to school for 7 years. I can get all of these college degrees. I can tell you about the physiology of your body. What I cannot do is give you 75 years of life experience. But the thing that I can do is tell you the things that I'm learning in this field. And the wisdom and the knowledge that these patients and these individuals have given me. And the ability for me to give that to you is me making sure that we're connected and that we're helping each other out. Doesn't that sound like a good life? Helping each other out? Well, for some, not so much. But I hope you understand that the things I'm learning, I'm going to make sure that I'm letting you guys know as well, because this is our journey. One day, I'm not going to be able to do these videos anymore. Not going to be able to hold a cell phone maybe. Might not be able to look. Might not be able to see as well. So I take these moments in my life now, and I take them, I look at them, I see the things, the privileges that I have, despite the obstacles and sometimes the sadness that I experience, because I know that this is what I have learned in this field, because one day, when it is my time to go, I'm going to remind myself of one of these moments right now where I'm not going to look at life and say, oh, it went too fast, or oh, I didn't appreciate it. I'm going to remember these moments right now where I really value this moment right now, and I'm going to do this as much as I can, because when it's my time to go, I'm going to look back, I'm going to smile, I'm going to be like, man, I knew this day was coming, and I prepared for it. And I lived a good life. And I appreciated the little moments that I had, and I appreciated the little things that I could do. It is a privilege for me to wake up not losing my hair every morning like a cancer patient. It is a privilege for me to wake up and floss my teeth and spit into the sink, not worrying about a ridiculous amount of blood coming up because I'm not dying. I still have real life issues. I still have big obstacles in front of me. I still deal with sadness like everybody else. I still have cranky, crazy days. But I do my best to manage on a day-to-day level because I appreciate the tiny things because they are purposeful to me. And that purposefulness is going to lead up to one point in my life realizing that I have lived a meaningful life because I appreciated all the little things that we don't think about. That's my video for today. Thank you very much for listening, ladies and gentlemen. This is just one audio take. I don't write this down. It's just from the heart. Maybe some of you will learn something, maybe some won't. Regardless, your time is important and I hope I didn't waste it. Have a beautiful day. Take care.